It was one of those nights that every EMT dreads, the kind where the full moon seems to bring out the worst in people. I had been on shift for what felt like an eternity, my uniform stained with evidence of the night's chaos. My partner and I had just finished restraining a particularly violent patient who had shredded our gurney in a fit of drug-induced rage. With a heavy sigh, I volunteered to head down to the basement storage to grab a replacement. As I descended the stairs, the fluorescent lights flickered ominously, casting dancing shadows on the cold concrete walls. The air grew thick and oppressive, carrying the musty scent of long-forgotten medical equipment. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, but I chalked it up to exhaustion and pushed on. The storage room was a labyrinth of shelves stacked high with supplies, creating narrow aisles that seemed to stretch on forever. The only sound was the soft hum of the ancient ventilation system and the squeak of my shoes on the linoleum floor. I navigated the maze, searching for the gurneys tucked away in the back corner. As I squeezed past a tower of cardboard boxes, I felt a sudden tug on my shirt. My heart skipped a beat, but I rationalized it away. Just caught on something, I muttered, trying to convince myself more than anything. I took another step, and there it was again, a distinct pull on the fabric. Before I could react, a voice pierced the silence. Clear as day, the words, "I'm lost," echoed through the room. It was the voice of a little girl, tinged with fear and confusion. I froze, my blood turning to ice in my veins. Every hair on my body stood on end, and a chill ran down my spine that had nothing to do with the basement's temperature. My mind raced, searching for a logical explanation. It was 3 a.m., and the pediatric ICU on the third floor had been locked down for hours. No visitors were allowed in the hospital at this hour, let alone a child wandering the restricted areas of the basement. I wanted to run, to sprint up those stairs and never look back. But something kept me rooted to the spot. Was this child, if it was a child, in danger? Was she really lost? Or was this something else? With trembling hands, I reached for my radio. "Hey," I croaked, my voice barely above a whisper. "Can you come down and give me a hand with this gurney?" I tried to keep my tone casual, but I knew my partner would hear the urgency in my words. As I waited, the seconds stretching into eternity, I scanned the dimly lit room. The shadows seemed to shift and move, playing tricks on my tired eyes. I could have sworn I saw a flicker of movement out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned to look, there was nothing there. My partner's footsteps on the stairs were the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. As soon as he appeared in the doorway, I felt some of the tension leave my body, but I couldn't shake the feeling that we weren't alone. "You okay?" he asked, noting my pale face and wide eyes. "You look like you've seen a ghost." I forced a laugh, but it came out hollow. "Maybe I have," I replied, only half joking. As we maneuvered the gurney out of its tight spot, I debated whether to tell him what had happened. Would he think I was losing it? Or worse, would he believe me? In the end, I kept quiet as we made our way back upstairs. But as we reached the door, I couldn't help but glance back one last time. In the farthest corner of the room, I could have sworn I saw a small figure in a white gown watching us leave. I blinked, and it was gone. That night marked a turning point for me. I've always prided myself on being rational, on finding logical explanations for the unexplainable. But sometimes logic fails us. Sometimes we're forced to confront the possibility that there are things in this world that defy explanation. In the years since, I've spoken with countless nurses, CNAs, and even a few physicians who have had their own inexplicable experiences in the hospital. The ICU and hospice wings seem to be hotspots for these occurrences. Some brush them off as the product of stress and sleep deprivation. Others hold on to their experiences as proof of something beyond our understanding. As for me, I'm still on the fence. But one thing's for certain, I never volunteer to go down to that basement storage room alone anymore. And sometimes, on quiet nights when the hospital halls are empty, I could swear I hear a faint voice calling out, "I'm lost." And I wonder if perhaps we're all a little lost, wandering between worlds we can't quite understand.